Okay, so today we're going to go over the Quizzizz review that we did in class, and I wanted to review it in class today, but since we're on a snow day, I could not. So let me share the screen, and we'll start going through this. Okay, so here's the first question, and this is the Quizzizz that look like this, medians of triangles. So this is 5.4. So here's the first question. Which of the following describes a median of a triangle? So you've got to remember that a median is the segment that connects the vertex. So let me just see. So is it the middle of a triangle? No, it's not. Is it a segment that connects two midpoints of two sides? No, it's not. Is it a segment with endpoints at the vertex and the midpoint of the opposite side? Bingo. Yes, it is. So this should have been your answer. And if you look back in the notes, you will see that that's how we defined a median. Okay, here's the next question. Which of the following words describes the point shown in the figure? So what I need to see is that you can see that you are connecting medians because they are hitting the midpoint of the side opposite the vertex, and that red dot, therefore, is called the centroid. So the correct answer is C. Okay, continuing down to question number 3. So here it says AD is 12. So AD equals 12, and they want you to find AG. Okay, if AD is 12, AD is the entire median. AG is the bigger part of it. So you would say 2/3 of 12. So 2 times 12 is 24. 24 divided by 3 equals 8, and therefore AG would be 8. Okay, continuing on to question number 4. The centroid is the point of concurrency of the 3, and the answer is medians. Remember, we're in 5.4. It's all about medians. Okay, let's go to question number 5. Okay, so CF, BE, and AD are the medians of the triangle. And then they're telling us if BF equals 10, find AF. So let's look at that. So I see the medians and I see BF. So BF is the outside of the triangle. AF has to be the exact same length. So if BF is 10, then AF is also going to be 10. And you can stop this at any point and go back and listen to what I'm telling you. Okay, so, and I would also suggest that when you have these problems that they're giving you numbers, have a piece of paper out and do your work there so that you can get the correct answer. You shouldn't just be looking and figuring out what looks good. You should actually be doing the calculations. Okay, so if G is the centroid, the second they say it's a centroid, it means that it is the place where the 3 medians cross. Okay, so it's inside the triangle. And the triangle is ABC. And they're telling me that AC is 32, and they want to find CE. Okay, let's look at our drawing. Okay, so AC is the outside of the triangle. So if the whole thing is 32, then CE has to be half of it because E is a midpoint. So the answer would be 16. That brings us down to question number 7. Here's question number 7. If G is the centroid of triangle ABC, again, G has to be where the 3 medians connect, and GF, so they're telling us GF is 4, find the length of GC. So let's look at our picture. Okay, so where is GF? GF is the smaller piece. And if GF is 4, and they want us to find GC, GC is the bigger piece. Okay, so this is what you can do. There is a relationship between the small piece in the triangle and that bigger piece. Okay, the small piece goes from the centroid to the outside edge of the triangle. The bigger piece goes from the centroid to the vertex. So that little piece, FG, is half the size of GF. So you've got to memorize that relationship. So, excuse me, half the size of GC. So if FG is 4, then GC has to be 8, and 8 is the answer. Okay, we're halfway done, just about. Okay, here's question number 8. If G is the centroid of triangle ABC and BE equals 18, they want us to find BG. Okay, so I wrote that down for myself before I looked at the picture. Now let's look at the picture. Okay, BE. BE is a median coming out of the angle B and going to the midpoint E. If they tell me that BE is 18, okay, BG is the bigger section. So BG is 2/3 of 18. Okay, so 2 times 18 is 36. 36 divided by 3 equals 12. I'm doing these calculations on paper as I speak. You should be doing the same. Okay, so my answer is that 12 is the length of BG. Okay, again, you can stop this at any time and go back over it, but this is the kind of stuff you should be able to do with medians. Okay, so BE equals 15. Find EG. Okay, so I just wrote that down. Come over here. Okay, BE is a median. They want me to find EG. So the EG is the smaller part. So EG is 1/3 of 15. So 15 divided by 3 gives me 5. So what I know is that EG is going to be 5. The other bigger piece will be 10, but they didn't ask us that question. So the answer is that EG is 5 because it was 1/3 of the 15. Okay, question 10. Identify the special segment that is pictured. So what is that? Well, it's coming out of an angle and it's dividing the opposite side in half. That is the definition of a median. So that's a median. That's what we've been working with in 5-4. Okay, so just to make this even more solid in your mind, they have another question for you. A median of a triangle connects the blank of a side to the opposite vertex. So you should be saying midpoint. So it connects the midpoint of a side to the opposite vertex, and the vertex is where the angle is. Okay, 12. Okay, it looks like the question is in the picture. So let's make the picture bigger. I can do this. Okay, so, okay. Find X if LW, so what's LW? Oh, LW is the 2/3 part. So if LW equals 2x minus 2, and LS, so LS equals 2x plus 6. So LS is the entire piece. Okay, so I know that 2/3 of LS, so 2/3 of 2x plus 6 in parentheses equals 2x minus 2. Okay, so I wish I can write this down for you someplace, but I cannot. So I'm just going to tell you what I wrote down. So I wrote down the fraction 2/3. I then put in parentheses the whole piece, which is 2x plus 6. And I set that equal to 2x minus 2 because I know that LW is 2/3 of the entire length. So therefore, if I take 2/3 of the entire length, I can set it equal to LW. So I have to do some multiplication. So 2/3 times 2x, so I wanted you to write this down as well, gives me 4x over 3 plus 2/3 times 6 gives me 12 over 3. That has to equal 2x minus 2. Okay, let's simplify things. 12 over 3 equals 4. So now I have 4x over 3 plus 4 equals 2x minus 2. You should be writing this down as I do it, because just listening to me is not going to help you understand this concept. Okay, my goal now is to get the x's on one side and the numbers on the other side. So I'm going to subtract 4x over 3 from both sides. That leaves me with 4 equals 2x minus 4 thirds x minus 2. Okay, so let's move the minus 2. Add 2 to both sides. That gives me 6 equals 2x minus 4 thirds x. Okay, so in order to understand what your x is going to be, let's change the 4 thirds x to 1 1/3 x. So what is 2x minus 1 1/3 x? You should be saying that is 2 thirds x. So there's lots of steps, but this is just algebra. You can do it. 6 equals 2 thirds x. To get x by itself, multiply 2 thirds x by 3 over 2 and do the same thing to the 6. 3 over 2 times 2 thirds is just 1, so that gives me x by itself. And 3 halves times 2 gives me 18 over 2, which is 9. So x equals 9, and that's what they wanted. So our answer is 9. Now you probably want to go back and think about this again. So don't rush through this problem. This is a really good problem, but it involves a lot of thinking on your part, and it involves algebra, which is always a good thing. Okay, that brings us down to question number 13. So let's look at 13. Find x if Ka, so what's Ka? Ka is the 2 thirds part. So Ka is 3x minus 2. So that's going to be 2 thirds of the entire length. And Kq is the entire length. So just like we did before, take 2 thirds of 2x plus 7. So my equation that I just wrote down is this. So write this down someplace. 3x minus 2 equals 2 thirds, paren, 2x plus 7. Okay, that's your equation. Now, let's distribute the 2 thirds. So 2 thirds times 2x gives me 4x over 3 plus 2 thirds times 7 gives me 14 over 3. On the other side, I have 3x minus 2. Okay, so my desire is to have the x's on one side and the numbers on the other side. So this time I'm going to add 2 to both sides. That gives me 3x equals 4x over 3 plus 14 over 3 plus 2. Okay, so now I want to move the x's. So why don't I subtract 4x over 3 from the right and do the same on the left. 3x minus 4x over 3 now equals 14 over 3 plus 2. Okay, so let's figure this out. Why don't I make mixed numbers, because sometimes they're easier to deal with. So 3x minus 1 1/3 x equals, let's see, 3 goes into 14. How many times? 4 times. That's 12, and 2 thirds plus 2. Okay, so let's see. So I have 3 minus 1 1/3, both with x's. So that's going to be 1 2 thirds x equals, okay, 4 2 thirds plus 2. So that's 6 2 thirds. Okay, so I think I want to make it into improper fractions again. So 1 2 thirds is 1 times 3 is 3, 4, 5. So that's 5 thirds x equals 6 times 3 is 18, 19, 20 equals 20 thirds. So right now I have 5 thirds x equals 20 thirds. Multiply both sides by 3 to get rid of the denominator of 3. That gives me 5x equals 20, and now I know that x equals 4. So lots of algebra steps, but these are the things that you could do. So the answer was 4. You may want to go back and listen to that one more time. Okay, here comes the second to last question. It says find EX if EX is 3x minus 4. Okay, that's the bigger of the inside pieces. And ET is 3x. Do the same procedure we've been doing. So take your 3x minus 4, which is the 2/3 piece, and set it equal to 2/3 of the 3x. Okay, so I get 3x minus 4 equals 2/3 times 3x gives me just 2x. So get your number 4 to the right side. Add 4, both sides. I have 3x equals 2x plus 4. Subtract 2x from each side. That gives me x equals 4. Now this time they don't want just x, they want EX. So EX is 3x minus 4. So 3 times 4 is 12 minus 4 equals 8. So EX is going to be 8. Ready for the last question? Okay, so you can look at the picture. Okay, this says find YV if YS, so what's YS? YS is the 2/3 piece. So YS is the 2/3 piece, that's 4x plus 14, and SV is the 1/3 piece. Okay, so what you can do, you can take the SV piece and multiply it by 2. If you multiply it by 2, you can then set those two pieces equal. So let me do that. So I'm going to take 4x plus 14, which is the 2/3 piece. And if I multiply the 1/3 piece by 2, then that's equal to the 2/3 piece. So 2 parentheses 1 plus 3x. Write this down as I'm saying it to you. So I end up getting 4x plus 14. Now distribute that 2. That's 2 plus 6x. Okay, so now I'm going to move things around. Let's get our x variables to the right. Subtract 4x, subtract 4x. That gives me 2x plus 2 equals 14. Subtract 2 from each side. 12 equals 2x. Divide by 2, and x is going to equal 6. Now again, they don't want x, they want YV. YV is the whole piece. Okay, it's the whole entire piece. So why don't we do this? Let's plug in for YS. What does YS equal? Well, if my x was 6, 4 times 6 is 24, and 24 and 14 is 38. So YS is 38. Okay, plug in 6 for SV, and you get 1 plus 6 times 3 is 18. That's 19. So now I have the two inside pieces. Add those guys together, 38 plus 19, and that's going to give me 57, and that is my answer. Okay, so the last 3 questions involved a lot of thinking, a lot of application of algebra to a geometry situation. All right, they're probably worth going back over. So I hope this helped you, and feel free to go over this a couple of times. This will really give you a solid understanding of the 5-4 medians section.